Hey, welcome to episode 5 of Enjoy the Journey with Arron Chambers. If you're enjoying this video podcast, then it'd be great if you could like it and then subscribe to it and share it with as many people as possible. I hope these are a blessing to you. I got something I got to get off my chest. So I do tons of marriage coaching, and I was working with a couple, and we were talking about some problems in their marriage. And I was talking to the wife, and she was sharing some needs that she had that were not being met. And I spent some time trying to help the husband understand some of the needs, communication time, that his wife was, some of the needs his wife needed met. And Christian couple. And as I'm talking to them and saying, listen, your wife, her expectations are not that complicated, and the list of needs that she is expecting to have met are pretty basic. You know, spending time with her, and spending time talking to her and helping her around the house. And to which this Christian man replied, well, what about my needs? And I told him what I'm going to tell you, that is one of the most pathetic things I've ever heard a man say. What about my needs? Can you imagine Jesus on the cross saying to God, well, what about my needs? Listen, let me share this with every person who's a leader, to men who are husbands, fathers, men and women who are in a position of influence. It is not about our needs, especially if you're a Christ follower. I was reading this in Matthew 20:26, and it shall be so among you. It shall not be so among you, but whoever would be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be first among you must be your slave, even as the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. If you and I want to make a difference in this world, if you and I want to be like Jesus, if you and I want to be the fathers and husbands and leaders and moms and people of influence we want to be, it's not about our needs. It's not about our needs. Especially if you're a Christ follower. Jesus came and set an example for us, and his example was that he came to serve, that he came to be last in line. Now, let me say something specifically to husbands, since I started off by talking about a husband who said something extremely pathetic. In Ephesians, Jesus is an example for us. And in Ephesians, Paul writes this. He says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word, so that he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy and without blemish. I love that image of how husbands should love their wives. Let me speak specifically to husbands. Men, we are supposed to love our wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Gave himself up. It's the cross and everything leading up to the cross, his agenda, his time, his desires, his everything. Jesus gave up for us. And if you and I want to be like Jesus, want to be the kind of leaders, kind of husbands, kind of fathers that God wants us to be, then it cannot be all about us. It is not all about you. Can you say that with me? It is not all about me. It's not. And it's about Jesus. It's about other people. And so I just want to get it off my chest. You and I can make a difference in this world. One of the reasons Jesus made a difference in this world is because it was not about him. Listen, if you're a person of influence, and if you're someone who's leading other people, and if you're a husband, love your wife as Christ loved the church. If you're a leader, love your organization as Christ loved the church. Love your children as Christ loved the church. And you know what happens when we love like Christ loved the church? Then, just like Jesus, we will make an eternal difference in the lives of the people with whom we have influence. So there you go. Bottom line, don't be pathetic. All right, remember who you are.